In this video, I'm going to share with you the annual income required to be in the top 1% of income earners in the US, and practical steps you or anyone can take to get there. The good news is you can really start from scratch with little resources. You don't have to be especially talented or well connected to start, and you don't have to be an entrepreneur. Simply put, that's really not for everyone. But you do need to work hard and make smart decisions when it comes to investing your time, money, and energy. So stay tuned. Hey folks, Richard Walls here, helping you with career development and personal finance. So if either of those two topics are of interest to you, do make sure to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell so you get notified of when I post new videos. So with that said, let's get to it. So I pulled this article from late 2017 on what the top 1% of income earners landed with respect to age group in the US. The caveat being, of course, it doesn't really take into account anywhere within the United States. There's a lot of differences when it comes to cost of living and salaries in different cities. But nonetheless, it's an average, it's a ballpark, and it's something we can really work off of. And as we look at these numbers, just know that this article, again, was from 2017. That was a few years back, and as of the recording of this video, we're in 2022. And if you haven't been paying much attention to the news lately, inflation is a really big topic, and since 2017 there has been substantial inflation really in the last year or two. So all the numbers that you see on this list, just go ahead and add about 15%. Let's look at age 30, for example. The top 1% of income earners earn about $200,000 a year. And in today's money, that equates to approximately $230,000. At age 45, that number goes up to $400K, which would be $460 in today's value. Obviously, the older one gets, the higher the likelihood that they would have advanced their career and be earning a higher income. Or they would be at a point where they would start seeing higher and higher returns on some of the investments they might have made. But nonetheless, the question now is, how do you get there? I'm going to start at a foundational level that really should be the launching pad for the rest of your career, and it's going to help you earn more and more throughout the rest of that time. First is education. Now, I want you to think about this more broadly than simply a 4-year degree. Education can come in many forms, from certifications to licenses to associate's degrees, 4-year degrees, master's degrees, but it's certainly not a one-size-fits-all solution. The education you decide to pursue is contingent upon what job function or industry you want to go into, preferably an industry that has a lot of job opportunities. And the second consideration to that is, while this is not a knock on smaller companies or startups, there just happens to be a little bit more risk there. I'd strongly consider a mid-sized or a larger, more established company where there is a higher likelihood for there to be job growth opportunities. From there, think about what education you would really need to be qualified for a role at those companies in that industry or in a certain job function. If you want to be a real estate agent, that likely just requires a license. Or to be a software developer, you could pursue a 4-year degree, computer science, or an alternative might be a coding bootcamp, and there's a lot of those out there that I won't be covering in this video, but it's something to investigate and do a little bit more research on, especially if you're looking to do a career pivot. If you want to go into IT, you may consider a CompTIA certification, of which there are many depending on what areas in IT you want to go into. If you're looking to go into a business type role, an associate's or bachelor's degree should be sufficient there. And for each type of education, there are huge ranges of price points. So don't be led to believe that you must spend a lot of money to earn a degree or earn some type of education and be able to effectively market it. You don't have to go to an Ivy League school. You don't even have to go to some top university, but you do want to go through an accredited program or an established university, so long as they offer the education that you're seeking to go into a certain role and that it works within your financial means. I should also mention that education doesn't have to be just one pathway and that's it. You can certainly pursue multiple paths at the same time or at different times. You could earn a degree and you can also earn certifications. You can earn multiple certifications. For example, there are courses and specializations offered through Coursera.org from some of the top universities in the world, where you can earn a certificate to give you an edge in a particular field. And I've got a few links down below in the description that you can check out to learn more about this amazing platform and what all it has to offer. Now, last note that I'll mention on education is that education is not a guarantee of anything whatsoever. It simply improves your chances at landing an opportunity. It makes you more marketable and more valuable to potential or prospective employers. Now, the second step is networking. You can have all the education in the world, but if you're not proactive in networking and building really strong connections with others, you're going to have a tough time finding the opportunities that interest you. But networking can be done in a number of different ways, one of which is through LinkedIn, where you can identify companies that are of interest to you, that have roles maybe that are open at that point in time or maybe potentially in the future. But so long as that's a company that you see yourself working at, you can usually find folks that are on LinkedIn that work at that company that you can reach out to and make those connections and introduce yourself so that you can potentially set up time to learn more about the company, about their experience, and start building that connection. Or you can also attend local business or industry related events. That's also a really great opportunity to get face-to-face and network with others. But what you absolutely cannot do is make that connection one time and that's it. You have to continue to follow up and foster that relationship. And what happens when you maintain that connection over time and you build that rapport, what happens is when opportunities do become available, you are going to be top of mind. Third step is experience. Once you have the education and once you've made the right connections, hopefully that culminates in some kind of opportunity to gain working experience in that field or in that job function. And from this point forward, it becomes the experience that's going to be the backbone of how marketable you are for future career opportunities. But here's the caveat with experience. It's really up to you to make the most of that experience. It's totally your choice if you want to sit back, relax, and just do what's required of you in that role, or within that role, continue to seek out new challenges and new opportunities for yourself and for the broader organization. And as you gain this experience, you are also at the same time building your brand and your reputation, so you really want to make that experience matter. Now, the fourth step is a bit of a doozy, because guess what? You're going to continue steps 1 through 3 indefinitely. No matter what field you're in or job function, you need to evolve as a professional over time. Technological change is really underpinning a lot of transformations in a lot of industries. And as technology moves forward, so too do new ideas and practices come into being. And this is exactly what you need to continue to educate yourself on, because if you don't, you're going to have a field of new entrants in whatever industry that you're in that will have that education. They will have up-to-date and modern understandings of what's going on around them. So last thing you want to do is be obsolete in competing for those opportunities with those that do have that advantage. So like I mentioned earlier, education isn't just a singular path, and it isn't something that just stops. It's something that you continue to do. So this may mean that you go and explore a master's degree or even multiple master's degrees. You may also decide to pursue some certification or maybe even multiple certifications. And of course, as you learn more and you have a better understanding of your industry as it evolves through time, you're going to need to continue to network, to continue to uncover new opportunities. That in turn will of course result in new career moves and again, more valuable experiences. And with each of those successive moves, more often than not, should come with an increase in salary or income. Now, step 5 is diversify your income streams. After all that, you should be in a better place financially. It's time to explore new income opportunities, many of which require money in the first place, which hopefully by now you have some of to start investing with. You can invest in dividend stocks that pay a pretty good return. You can invest in real estate for rental income. You can invest your time and money into a side business doing whatever it is you enjoy to do that people will also happen to want to pay you for. There's a really good book that I recommend that I've talked about before about side hustles, and there's just some really creative ideas out there that if you have the time and you have the resources and the wherewithal to go out and pursue some of these things, there's a lot of interesting things that you could potentially do. So I'll give you a link to that book in the description down below. But the goal here with the different income streams is not only to boost your income to get closer to that top 1% income earner level, but it's also so that if one of your income streams takes a hit, maybe you lose your job or maybe whatever other income stream goes to zero, you still have other income streams that's going to help you keep going. So it's yet another layer of financial security. So folks, those are your 5 steps, and let me know down in the comments below some of your strategies. What has helped you grow your income over time? And it doesn't necessarily have to be to get to the top 1%, but just something that you've done that you've found to be helpful over time and continue to help you grow financially. So let me know if I missed anything in those 5 steps. And again, apart from becoming an entrepreneur, which has its own set of risks and rewards, I believe these are pretty practical steps that I myself have used and have been successful with. But let me know in the comments down below what you think. So with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you around.